Sleepover Flashlight. Hi, my name is Steve and I'm 14 right now, and I would like to share my stories here. It was about 4 years ago. I went for a sleepover at my cousin's house, and since I'm a shy kid, I didn't want to sleep alone in the guest room downstairs, so I asked them to sleep with me. Me and my cousin are the same age, but his little brother was 7 at the time. It was bedtime, but we still had a lot of energy, so we played with the nightlight. It was a weird light that, when it turned red, the whole room turned black. We played stuff like Fortress from pillows and stuffed toys until we got bored. I remember it was around midnight that we lied down looking out the window until a light passes through it. We were creeped out, so we went to look at what it was. We look out the window and see a man dressed in black with a flashlight and something else in his arms. We wanted to see what it was, so we opened the window and I wish we didn't. We opened the window as quiet as we could and saw he was holding a weapon like gun. That time, my cousin's little brother wakes up and comes to the window. When he sees the man, he started screaming. And I need to tell you, we were home alone that night. So the man turns and looks at us. We close and lock the window and go upstairs, grab some toy guns and knives and go back down. When we look out, the man was running away. We went upstairs looking from the window and waited for my cousin's parents. And when they arrived, we told them the story, and guess what? They didn't believe us. But I know what I saw. So, creepy flashlight guy, let's not meet. Please don't hate, cause this is my first time posting here. The Villisca Axe Murders. This is my great-grandmother's story. She passed away in 2005 at the ripe old age of 103. This story is family folklore, but unlike most family folklores which have been exaggerated with time, this one is 100% true. I created a throwaway account in case some internet sloth finds out my family name. I'd rather not have it tied to my main account. This story takes place in the year of 1912 in a little Iowa farming community named Villisca. One summer day, my great-grandmother was asked if she would like to stay overnight at her friend's house with 2 other girls. When my great-grandmother asked her parents if she could attend the sleepover, she was told that she couldn't, as there was too much housework that needed to be done, but that she could go over the next day after her morning chores had been completed. The next morning, my great-grandmother's friend, her siblings, her parents, and the 2 guests who were staying overnight were found murdered. Police discovered that all 8 people had been bludgeoned to death. The murder weapon, an axe, was left in the house. The murder has never been solved to this day. My family's unofficial motto is "saved by chores," and yes, this story is used in my family to scare children into completing their housework. I'm not sure if directly linking to articles and websites, etc. is against sub rules, but if you were to Google, say, the title of this post, there would be plenty of sites for you to read if you would like more information. Intruder Got The Giggles. Home intruder with a case of the giggles. My mom is a nurse and works night shifts. My older brother and I are used to being home alone at night. Our dad is in the government and has to be away for that job sometimes, unfortunately. My best friend came over for a sleepover, so heck yeah, girls' night, right? We banished my brother to his basement bedroom, but I check on him around midnight. He's out like a light. I lock up, shut the house down, and text my mom that the house is all done and we'll see her in the morning. Friend and I hang out in my upstairs bedroom and decide to turn on my computer and watch the popular web series, The Most Popular Girls in School. For those who don't know what it is, check it out, it's hilarious. Anyways, we hear someone trying to stifle laughter outside the door as we're watching this. My friend, Beth, pauses the video and we hear someone trying not to laugh. I throw a stuffed animal at the door and yell, "Fuck off, Dawson, go back to bed!" And then footsteps go down the stairs to the ground floor, not the basement, the ground floor. I grab my phone to text him and tell him to stop lurking in the hallway. But I saw a few missed texts from him. Not just a few, but a couple. They are as following. 12:20. Mom said stay in the house at night, dumbass. 12:23. Can you stop banging around upstairs? Some of us actually sleep. 12:25. Thanks. There's Sprite in the mini fridge, by the way. I get kind of spooked by this because we never left the house. And we were upstairs in my room by 12:15. I called my brother's cell phone and waited for him to pick up. He did, sounding groggy. This better be important, he said. I frantically explained what had happened, still wanting this to be an elaborate joke he was trying to pull. He's quiet for a moment, and then he finally speaks, and I'll never forget what he said. Open your window, get onto the roof, take your phones, and go across to Dr. Tom's house. Call the police on your way, and after that, call Mom. And remember, I love you, and I love Mom and Dad a lot, okay? Now go! He hangs up, and I'm crying as I push Beth up onto the roof. She, having heard the conversation, is already dialing 911 as she climbs down. I linger inside for a minute, and start hearing crashes like breaking glass and furniture. She yells for me to come on, so I escape out the window, and we bash on Dr. Tom, my mom's co-worker's door. He's awake, being a night shifter on his day off, and lets us in. He knows my brother is in serious trouble, so he wakes up his wife and tells us to stay with her, grabs the gun from his bedside table, and heroically runs out wearing pajama bottoms and no shirt. After what feels like forever, there's sirens and yelling. Tom's 7-year-old daughter peeks out the window and tells me there are cops taking a man from our house, and there's also an ambulance outside on the street. I start bawling again, thinking for sure my brother had been slain. Later, my brother and Tom filled in the gaps for me. Dawson knew, since he was in the basement and underground, that if he tried to escape the house, he'd run into the intruder on the ground floor. Being very open concept, with not many walls to hide behind, he, being my brave big brother, grabbed the aluminum baseball bat from under his bed and makes sure Beth and I can escape before going to face whoever's in our house. The dude was armed with a knife, but my brother managed to bat it out of his hand. He's pretty sure he broke at least a few of the man's fingers, if not his hand. This intruder is crazy and tries to attack Dawson instead of trying to escape. There's a struggle. They end up knocking a lot of things over before Tom's runs in and grabs the dude from behind, holding a gun to his head. They restrain him until the cops show up. They brought an ambulance with them because Beth had told them my brother was in there and could get hurt. Turns out they did need the ambulance though. Dawson broke the intruder's hand, 2 ribs. He suffered a severe gash on his leg from landing on a chunk of this pottery that my mom insisted on keeping around, and possible head trauma. The man's in jail now for breaking and entering, and a few other unrelated charges we weren't told about. We're going to be notified when he's released. I'm so proud of my big brother for being so brave. He wasn't injured, just a few bruises and scrapes, and was treated at the scene. We looked for how the guy got in, and apparently one of the windows in the laundry room attached to the ground floor can be opened, which we weren't aware of. It takes a lot of propping to slide into the side and fit through though, and that's how he got into our house. He didn't have any of our valuables with him, even though we have a lot of nice things that he would have for sure seen. He didn't even have a bag, and nothing was out of place besides a few of Mom's things, which really creeps me out. I'm not suffering any nightmares or PTSD over it, and neither is Dawson. But Beth, sadly, is having a few issues with it. She's in counseling though, and she'll be okay.